From the News Channel 5 Network and Out and About newspaper, this is Out and About Today. Sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.
Hello, I'm Chuck Long, and welcome to a frightening edition of Out and About Today. I say frightening because in honor of my co-host Pam's favorite holiday, Halloween, we're going to be talking about our favorite scary movies on Buzzabout. Later, Pam is joined by Megan Graff Thomas for a discussion about LGBT youth issues. But now it's time to talk about things that go bump in the night and everyone's favorite scary movie. Isn't this a great month?
Yes, I love it.
So why do you like Halloween so much? What is it about Halloween?
I have an affinity for it based on my childhood. It's really non-gay love. You know, this was when I was little and didn't even know what gay was. So my dad's, whose birthday is on Halloween, would take us out trick-or-treating. And we got to be creative. My mom was creative with costumes. One year, like when I was in first grade or second grade, I went as the tattoo lady. My cousins drew tattoos all over me, and my dad would let us trick-or-treat until our legs hurt and we cried. I mean, so it was just fun. And I did haunted houses and I could tell you a story after. We could just make a whole segment about, you know, my love for Halloween.
Now, do you still like going to the haunted houses and things like that?
I'm a little scared of haunted houses, but I still love to decorate my house. I still love to put a ton of effort into my costume. I
haven't noticed.
I know. I put so much effort into my Halloween costume for the office and day. I haven't been out in years on Halloween, you know, like to party.
Right.
And now I have a kid, so it's all back through her, trick-or-treating.
Do you think she's picking up your love for Halloween?
Well, she's just about 4, so we you know, it's early days. But it's like, I'm going to be a terrible mom because my costume will have to be better than hers. I need to be noticed around the block.
Do you have an idea what you're doing this year?
I don't know yet. I've got a few things.
Okay. Yeah. We could do a whole segment with Pam on just talking about Halloween.
I know we could. Believe me, I know.
He knows. I love it.
It's fun.
But the gays love Halloween. The gays do it up so well.
Why do you think that is?
You get to dress up. You get to put on makeup. If you want to do drag and you're afraid to, it's like gives you that permission once a year to do drag. You get to be somebody else. I just think it's the whole theatrical nature of it. Plus you get to decorate. There's candy. I mean, what's not to like about it?
I hear you. And what's not to like about scary movies, horror movies? I love to just, like, especially in October, just put a good horror movie on and get the popcorn out.
Are you able to watch them late at night, or do you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I have to like watch them earlier in the day, so I've got time to not think about it before bed.
Okay, so we're going to talk about favorites, all right? So first we're going to go to Pam's favorite in honor of this being, you know, a good Halloween segment for Pam and all of us. Actually, Scream is your favorite. Tell us about that.
I'm partial to the Scream trilogy. I love it. I've loved 1, 2, and 3 so much. I mean, what's not to love with Neve Campbell, right?
Right.
And then I love an ensemble cast. I love the clever references, so there's some thought behind it. It's not just slasher, but there's slashing.
Right.
And it's not that scary.
See, I think it is at times. It's jump out of your seat scary at times. So let's take a little look at it right now, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more after that.
You didn't make the rules.
Police are always on track, but they watch prom night and save time.
He just kills by them. Don't answer the phone. Don't open the door. Don't try to hide.
Everybody's a suspect!
Not scared, are you? Squeak.
It was just so witty, too.
It was so witty. That's what I like about it. But it was scary when I look at that clip. You know.
Because you remember, like, when Neve would, like, she would hear something outside the door, and she would open the door, and she'd go, and nothing was there, and then she'd come back, and somebody's behind her.
Right.
I remember screaming in the theater.
Yeah.
Well, that mask is a little off-putting, you know, and it's still a popular costume. Whenever I see it, you still get that tinge of, like, who's behind that mask?
That mask is timeless. Let's get real. Forever you're going to be able to take it out.
Yeah, it really is. And every one of the Scream trilogy, I mean, they did every one of them right. I went back and watched 2 just recently, and that's when the Jada Pinkett Smith opens, you know, in the movie theater, and they're watching a movie that was made called Stab of Scream.
Right. Very clever.
Yeah, everything that they did in there, and all the guests. And eventually in the Scream, they even parodied, or not parodied, but they had someone playing the Drew Barrymore opening scene.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, yeah, because they were making a movie. Yeah.
Well, and then they made a spoof movie of Scream.
Right.
I kind of jumped ahead. That's what that was. So, again, any others other than Scream?
Well, I love Halloween too, the classic.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, Michael Myers. And I have a quick story of showing my niece at a kind of a young age the first Halloween, and it was on TBS or something, so there was no scary parts, and we're all watching it. Classic, Hayden. And then we go to the video store, and she's like, "Oh, can I get 1 and 2 and 3?" I'm like, "Yeah." We got them all. And then we go back and watch them, but they're the rated R version. And I'm a terrible aunt. I just let her watch them all.
I love that.
Yeah, she still to this day loves horror movies because of it. So Halloween I love.
Well, let's take a look at Halloween. It's my favorite too as well. So this is Halloween, and then we'll talk a little bit about something coming up after this.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. I think he'll come back.
Exploring uncharted territory?
Totally charted.
Just talk.
Sure. The only reason she babysits is to have...
Halloween.
I still remember the first time I saw Halloween in the movie theater, and I literally remembered just grabbing onto the seat, trying not to jump. I jumped so many times. Everything about Halloween, to me, that was the perfect horror movie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. What about you? It's too scary for you.
No, I've watched those after the fact. They're not quite as scary. You know, I'm not a huge slasher fan, but yeah, I can deal with those.
Okay, so you've heard the news, though, that they are coming back with another Halloween. And of course, they did a Rob Zombie couple of Halloweens. I didn't like it. To me, it was just too kind of headbanger Halloween. It just wasn't my kind of Halloween. I want the scary jump out of the
Halloween.
seat.
I like that.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. And yet, Rob Zombie apparently was a huge fan of the originals, but he's just a different kind of filmmaker. But Jamie Lee Curtis is returning to the next Halloween. Look at, when I saw that, I can't even tell you, when I saw this, I saw the Twitter feed on it. I just almost jumped out of my seat. I was like, yes, because the second I saw that, I thought she's coming back, and that's exactly what's happening.
How does she come back? Because she did.
Right, she did
not make it.
Not make it in Halloween 7, because she came back. Of course, that's the thing. They kind of reinvent it all the time. After Halloween 2, then they kind of took it down a different road. Halloween 3 had nothing to do with the first two.
Yeah, that witch mask.
Right, exactly. Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
And then Halloween 4, 5, they completely just discounted. They were like Jamie's niece and that sort of thing, or Laurie Strode's niece. And then in 7, she died. But what they're doing is they're picking it up years later after Halloween 2. So
You're a Halloween historian.
I know, right?
I probably know more about the Halloween movies than any movies that I've ever seen. So now, Brent, let's talk a little bit about your favorites now. Okay, so The Shining, The Others, The Omen, Crimson Peak.
Yeah, well, I tend to like a gothic horror type stuff, a little bit more suspenseful than sort of gory or even sort of, something that could possibly be real, but maybe hopefully isn't. And I've just always, I don't know if it's, whenever I watch something sort of super scary or slasher or a lot of gore, I tend to have nightmares. And I'm not necessarily scared while I'm watching it, but apparently my subconscious is scared. But I like those types of movies. I love a big house or a scary atmosphere, something that really kind of makes you wonder. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte's another good favorite of mine that I've loved. So like Betty Davis, like old scary movies where it's, you don't really never know what's there sometimes. It's all in your head.
We're going to talk more about this. We've got a break right now. We're going to come back, talk more scary movies right after this, and I'm going to do a little Halloween trivia with you.
Okay.
Okay, so more on Out and About today right after this.
Out and About today, sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.